We've had, since the Abortion Act came in 56 years ago, well over 10 million lives lost to abortion. As Christians, we believe, I trust, that God's Word is true when it speaks of how life is defined from creation. God breathes His Spirit into humanity and gives life, and He's created each and every human being with that value and with the need for respect, the need to be recognized as made in His image. Now, a part of the problem when it comes to abortion is that the image of God has, due to our own responsibility, or rather irresponsibility, been fractured in so many ways. As Christian pastors, we have a responsibility to speak up about any and every sin before God, and the reality that we all have sinned and fallen short of God's glory. Some have had abortions, some have been complicit in carrying out abortions, or have stood by while family and friends have had abortions, but we have the wonderful privilege as representatives of Jesus Christ in this life to be advocates for life from conception without exception. Even right now, as we are here observing this very important gathering, there's an individual who's shouting, "My body, my choice." And this is quite a common response, "My body, my choice." The reality is, of course, it is another body involved, not just the body of the woman involved. And there's another individual involved, not just the woman and the child involved, and that's, of course, the father. So there are a range of attitudes, a range of responses. But what I do find, and this comes from not only years of pastoring, but also leading at one point a pregnancy crisis helpline that saw many people call, many lives saved through that. Many women don't actually want to have abortions. Many feel forced, many feel compelled by their circumstance, and it's generally seen as a negative. It's always the reality that in life there are many challenges. In a crisis pregnancy there are many challenges. There's often a negative in such a situation. That's why it's a crisis pregnancy. But for the individual, and I would say to anyone who comes across this who may be considering an abortion, to think through how there's a negative situation you're in right now, and you may resent even someone sharing that there could be a positive, but an abortion adds a negative to a negative. It's always a taking away, it's always a termination, and so is by definition a negative. While as with a child being born and being brought into the world, that is a redemption out of something that is very negative. It is a plus, it is an addition, it's a positive. And so you can have the negative that has some redemption with a positive, the child being born and being able to love, nurture, and care for that child regardless of the circumstance, or you can have a negative on top of a negative. I find those who do have abortions often do go on to have profound regrets and difficulties, and wish that someone had provided them with some resource, provided them with a way to keep that child.